Hi, in this video I will show you how to put together this Moose with Ornaments card, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So for this I'm just going to show you how to piece together, and it's a real simple card. It really is kind of what people call a triangle card. I kind of think it's a triangle gatefold in a way. So we're going to piece together this. So that's the hardest part, is just piecing together the moose. And it doesn't include this tag, that's just an extra tag. And then it just opens like that and like that. So, and you can see I put this tag on backwards. So when you cut out on your die cutting machine, the reason why the panels are situated the way they are is because of this. So you have two that are situated like this, just in case you have a pattern that goes up and down, or has a, has a top and a bottom to it. So you can see the trees are upside down, and then it's just like this. So that it closed like that, and it fits into an A2 envelope, and of course we have a free one in our basic envelope set. So let's go ahead and start. Let me put this over here. So we have the pieces for the moose, and I kind of consider it just being on snow. So in fact, let me go ahead and show you the pieces, and then we'll start putting together. I'm going to go ahead and emboss this a little bit with something fun, and then we'll put it together. So just a side note, so this is for the whole piece, so you can piece this on it. But you don't need to use this if you don't want to, if you just wanted the moose. So the way they designed this is so you don't have to use, you can use the moose for anything. So the moose by itself, if you omit this piece and this piece, and the ornaments, that's why I put the ornaments on separately, so you can just use the moose if you want to for a different card. So without having to do a bunch of editing of the file. So we have the different pieces of the moose. I'm just going to put those aside. We're going to piece that together first, but we will include these two pieces. And the rest of it's in this embellishment bowl. We have one print and cut, and it is meant to be print and cut. It says Merry Christmas to put on. I mean, if you want to use it. It's quite small, but I just made it a size to put above the moose in the head. And the rest of this are the ornaments and part of the faces. So let's make sure we have all the white pieces, and so I'm not going to dump those out until we're ready. And then these are the panels, like I said, the outside panels. So it's going to fold like that. These are for the inside. Then the outside are right here. So when it folds down like that. So let's go ahead and piece together the moose. So I just got a piece of scrap paper, because this is the kind of thing it's good for. So you can see, since I have a black mat back there, I wanted you to be able to see the black pieces okay. So we have this. So we could just put together, we're just going to put together the moose first, and we'll put it on these and at last. How about that? So let's go ahead. I'm going to dump out, I'm just going to take out the pieces for the head. Actually, let's go ahead, and it's easier to do that because most of it is what we need. So the head itself, it's by itself. So we have this, the snout. These are the ornaments. Again, if you wanted to use it without the ornaments, that's why I separated them the way I did. It really doesn't take that long. I mean, it seems like this is a lot of putting together, but it goes together rather quickly. And this is for the sign, actually. So that'll just go right there. So let's go ahead and put that together. Again, this is a print and cut tag that you can use or not use. You could always take the saying off and put your own, or just do your own tag. that this matches the, so it's just a little, so I'm gonna put that back in this little embellishment bowl to hold so I don't lose it. So let's go ahead and do the face. So the way it's gonna layer is like this, this, this. So the easiest way, in my opinion, is to do the white and the brown together first. So the way we're going to do it is, I'm just going to put glue around here. Make sure I'm just doing the texture sides. So it's upside down, and so this is upside down. The only reason I'm doing, you could put it on the black, but the only reason I'm doing that is just to make sure everything lines up properly. And then we'll just put this on the black piece and make sure you put glue on this. There's really, as long as you know the order they go, it doesn't really matter as long as you line them up. I had a hard time. I drew this moose out and then I was trying to figure out what type of card to put it on, and what a lot of people don't know is I have a lot of the common cards. I just don't, I feel like a lot of people sell them already, so I sometimes don't just pull out a common card that I already have a cut that I already had designed, like the triangular card, but this is a sideways triangular card. A lot of times they go a different way. So this is more of a landscape versus a portrait. So, and I have these little teeny weeny gems. Normally it wouldn't show you how to put it on. So if you have a tool like this, the pick me up tool, it picks up real small things. It's a little bit too sticky for me. So I have something that's similar. It's just, it has a little rubber stuff on the end. It's just, but it's from a company that no longer exists. So I have these teeny gems. Oops. Stuck to my finger. See, that's why we can't put them on. That I'm just going to use for the eyeballs. A lot of times I just use a white pen, but this time I'm using just a dot of glue in this. So that pick me up tool is a little too sticky for something this small. It doesn't come off. I have too much stick coming out because it has that little goo at the end. The eyes are not quite where I wanted them, but that's okay. Kind of like bulging eyeballs. Or you can just use a white pen. So now let's go ahead. We want this to go underneath here. So that'll just fit right there. So what I would do is basically, whenever you can, add glue to the item that you're going to place something on rather than the thing that you're placing. Oops, be careful where you put the glue though. I am going to cover that so it doesn't matter, but so if I got the ears, it's okay because I have a panel covering it. So, and I'm just going to hit the middle here. I didn't want it showing at the top, so that's the reason why I shaped it the way I did. So I put a little glue on the ear here. I'm just getting it lightly placed first. And then I'll just make sure I can get it into place. And see, I have a little glue right there. And this has little cut lines right here, and you can see through. So we're going to do it like that. So this is actually not that hard to piece at all. At least I feel like it's one of the simpler ones I've had in a while. Part of the challenge when we do these things is trying to figure out how you can piece them together without, to make it easy. I know we all don't, be careful with the black there because I just got a little glue. Maybe some don't talk about the design elements of it, but if you struggle at home, just know that designers also struggle. They're not these very special beings. We have issues where we, or at least I do. Maybe there's others that are probably more refined than me, but you know, I do a lot of testing with these piecing things sometimes. And if you don't want to see the white, just take a little ink pad, whether it be black. I'm gonna use black for this. That one's falling apart. It looks like it's time to get rid of this one, so I'm gonna throw it in the trash. That was one of my favorite ink pads. They no longer sell these, so you can get other ones. So I'm just darkening it so I can't see the white paper through it. Then you could pop it up like that. Well, why don't we do that? I wasn't going to, but get a little foam tape. We just cut it just right. I was lucky. So if you do pop it up like this, just make sure you line it up where it needs to go. I just kind of make sure I'm in the right place and then pop it down. So it gives it a little dimension. And then these, pretty simple. Just layer like this. So I'm just going to line them up here. Put that little mousse to the side. Line these up. Just go up to the little neck of the ornament. And then I'm taking the silver pieces. I'm in silver. You could use a gray. Don't get your fingers on the other things. I'm just lining it up. Try to keep your, if you have any glue on your fingers with metallics, try to keep it where it's not gonna see. So I have a little glue on the bottom part, but that part won't show because we're putting another color on it. I only use the silver for that little top piece. But much easier to put a big piece rather than a teeny silver piece. So thus the layering. Just trying to get it into place. Get it right before this glue dries. So I just kind of go around the edge. And then we'll put that top piece. So if you like this video or any of my other projects, I always appreciate a little thumbs up, a little like, and or if you haven't subscribed, you can always subscribe and hit that little notification button, and that'll tell you when we have a new video, whether it be a new card or box or tutorial. It'll notify you in your YouTube. I think sometimes you get the emails too. I had to turn off some of my notifications because I get so many. I mean, I know when people comment, but anyways, I actually do get notifications for a couple YouTube videos that are quite helpful for me. Because I'm constantly learning, like, I'm always trying to try new things. Sometimes I do the same thing, but I do try to take time and fine-tune my skill, try something different. Just takes time, like everything else. Just like you all learning your software on your die cutting machines. So the last thing we're going to do, that was the hard part. Or the tedious part, it's not hard. We're just going to line this up. And actually de-emboss this. I meant to emboss it, but I flipped it the wrong way, so I think they both look cool. If you haven't used embossing folders, one of my favorite things to do. Need to have a list of my favorite things out there. There's a couple of them. But everything takes time. So I'm just lining it up. All this is doing is helping us center it, so it'll be easier for us to put this big piece on the card rather than so you can see you can use the mousse by itself. But this just helps us put it on the card. I just got sidetracked by my own thoughts. So be careful when you're putting glue on this, so just get kind of towards the edges, but this fine tip applicator is good for my art glitter glue because I can control the flow a little bit better. So I'm just going to line it up. So I'm just lightly placing it until it looks like it's kind of in the place. The most important thing that you'll notice if it's not, and that's okay, the nice thing about black is it kind of gives it a black outline if you don't get it exactly where it needs to go, because it makes it stand out a little bit more. I went down a little bit, but that's okay, you can see. And then all I did here is go ahead and just add glue, not to the whole thing, see if you can see, just a couple dots of glue. And I'm just gonna arbitrarily kind of, you want to have that look like it's hanging, so I kind of have that, the top part right above it, so it looks like it's going around it. And same thing with these. So if you don't want to use these, obviously, I'm going to put the glue right here. So this is going to determine where I place it. So this is the fragile part of the card. I'm going to just put it right here, because these things are just going to hang off. So they could be easily ripped off, so be careful when you're playing around with them. Once they get to their destination, whoever you give it to, then they have to deal with it. So I'm just figuring out something, and in your software you could flip them and stuff, but it's fairly sturdy. As you can see, they're kind of hanging, but it's not bad. So let me get rid of this scratch piece of paper now that we have that together. Let's go ahead and put together this card. So the card cuts like this. Normally it's opposite for this is landscape, and the other one, portrait, would be opposite of this. So it's just going to fold like this. So I kind of think of it triangle gatefold, even they call it a triangle card. So I'm going to put it flat. Well, actually, I want to show you something before, so you don't make this mistake. When you have the panels, find the panels that match. So this one, when it's down, it'll be up, but you may get confused because it's upside down this way. So just make sure you put it on the correct way, so you can flip it over and double check before you put it on. So we're just going to center these in each section. It's kind of hard to see because because of the color of the cardstock. So then now it's correct, and then you'll see this one is like this. But I never like to glue it. I like to glue it flat just in case so I don't get glue leakage on the inside of the card. Make sure that you can see what I'm doing. This is rather easy. The biggest issue with the panels is not gluing them, is if you have a pattern on them, that make sure that they're cut appropriately. If it's just like a polka dot or something that doesn't care about up and down, then you don't have to worry about these things. These are both up like this. So I'll put those in, and then we'll put the mousse on. So the last thing we want to do is put it on the card. So you can see it's going to just glue on this part because we want it to open like that. So you have to determine where you're going to add your glue. So I'm just going to flip this up like this. And then when you can see where it's going to land, because you want this not to go over the top edge. So you can kind of, the reason I'm doing this is so we can flip it over. It doesn't have to be exact, but you can see the part, I know you can see the red, but you can see the part that you don't want to glue on. So you basically want to glue on this side. So we can just go ahead and add glue here. So just to make sure you don't want to add glue there. Hold on. So I knew that as soon as I saw it. So you see like that? We're going to add glue onto the ornament. And then you see that down here, the face. So we can kind of check. You can go a little bit more here. So if you get enough glue on this side, you should be okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and place them. I'm just going to lightly place them just in case I have to get a little glue. Make sure I did enough. So I didn't go as far as I could have. So I can just kind of lift that up and add some glue underneath here. So now, just going to flip that over like that. It's like that, and then we can just add it a little. So it'll be like that. So when you put it in an envelope and they pull it out, as soon as they do it, it'll do like that. So they'll probably figure out how to open it, and then you can put your sentiment. I would hope they'd figure it out. I didn't want to put any kind of wrapper or anything. I wanted it to be able to start coming out when somebody opens it. So here's a little tag. I put a little foam tape on it. Pop it up. And there's our little Moose with Ornaments card. Whoops. There you go. There's our Moose with Ornament card. So it just kind of, and it's sturdy enough to open. But like I said, if you didn't want these, you could always just do the moose by itself, but something else, whatever you want to do with it. And if you cared about it having a different color on the back, you can always cut another black and have basically another lay on the back. It'll make this sturdier, and it'll all be black on the back when they open it. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I thank you so much for watching.